What if your day began with a dolphin watching in the wild and ended with an amazing show on Broadway? Welcome to the East Coast, a region where every place tells its own remarkable story. Whether you're planning your next journey or simply curious about the East Coast, stick around. We'll uncover fun facts about the East Coast and then explore its vibrant cities, historic landmarks, and breathtaking coastlines. Fun facts about the East Coast of the USA. Did you know that St. Augustine in Florida is the oldest continuously inhabited European established city in the country, while many East Coast states were part of the original 13 colonies where the American Revolution began? The region has a wide range of climates, from the cold winters of Maine to the tropical warmth of Florida. It features key Civil War battlefields like Gettysburg and iconic amusement parks such as Coney Island in New York and Walt Disney in Florida. The coastline is dotted with lighthouses, including Cape Hatteras in North Carolina, the tallest in the U.S. Philadelphia is home to the Liberty Bell, a key symbol of independence. Cape Canaveral on Florida's Space Coast has hosted historic space launches like Apollo 11. The East Coast has shaped music history, with genres like jazz in New Orleans and hip-hop in New York. In New York City, the One World Trade Center stands as the tallest building in the country. The best places on the East Coast of the USA. Outer Banks. Located off North Carolina's coast, the Outer Banks form a chain of barrier islands stretching over 100 miles. These narrow strips of land, shaped by wind and waves, create a natural barrier protecting the mainland from Atlantic storms. The island's unique geography has earned them the nickname Graveyard of the Atlantic. Over 3,000 ships have met their fate here due to treacherous shoals and shifting sandbars. This maritime history gave rise to the iconic Cape Hatteras Lighthouse, America's tallest brick lighthouse. The Wright brothers chose Kill Devil Hills for their historic first flight due to the area's steady winds and soft landing surface. Today, massive sand dunes at Jockey's Ridge State Park tower up to 100 feet high, constantly reshaped by coastal winds. These are the tallest living natural sand dunes in the eastern United States. The region's ecosystem is equally fascinating. Wild Spanish colonial horses still roam the northern beaches, descendants of shipwrecked animals from centuries ago. Charleston. A city where Southern charm meets profound history, Charleston sits at the confluence of the Ashley and Cooper Rivers in South Carolina. Its historic district showcases pristine antebellum architecture with prestigious Rainbow Row featuring 13 pastel-colored Georgian townhouses from the 1700s. The city's heart lies in its French Quarter, where cobblestone streets wind past the old slave mart, now a museum documenting Charleston's central role in America's slave trade. The Battery, a defensive seawall and promenade, stands as a testament to the city's strategic importance during both the Revolutionary and Civil Wars. Fort Sumter, where the first shots of the Civil War rang out, sits in the harbor, accessible only by boat. Charleston's distinctive architecture reflects its unique past. The single house design with narrow sides facing the street and long piazzas evolved to catch sea breezes in the subtropical climate. The city's gardens burst with camellias and azaleas, while massive live oaks draped with Spanish moss create natural canopies over the streets. Key West. The southernmost city of the continental United States, Key West sits just 90 miles from Cuba, creating a unique blend of Caribbean and American culture. The island's history is marked by shipwreck salvagers, cigar makers, and writers, most famously Ernest Hemingway, whose Spanish colonial home still houses descendants of his six-toed cats. Duval Street pulses as the main artery, running from the Gulf of Mexico to the Atlantic Ocean, lined with classic conch architecture featuring wooden buildings with wraparound verandas and gingerbread trim. The waters surrounding the island hold North America's only living coral barrier reef, making it a paradise for snorkelers and divers. At Mallory Square, crowds gather daily for the sunset celebration, a tradition where street performers entertain as the sun sinks into the Gulf. The island's isolation and tropical climate have created distinct ecosystems, home to unique species like the tiny key deer and the colorful Key West butterfly. Despite numerous hurricanes, the island spirit remains unshaken, embodying its motto, "One human family." Everglades National Park. This vast wetland ecosystem covers much of South Florida, forming a complex network of sawgrass marshes, mangrove forests, and cypress swamps. Unlike typical rivers, the Everglades is a slow-moving sheet of water, earning it the nickname River of Grass. The park serves as a sanctuary for endangered species like the Florida panther, American crocodile, and West Indian manatee. Remarkably, it's the only place on Earth where alligators and crocodiles naturally coexist. The landscape is dotted with hardwood hammocks, islands of trees that rise above the marshes, providing crucial habitat for diverse wildlife. During the dry season, wading birds like wood storks, roseate spoonbills, and great blue herons gather in incredible numbers around shrinking pools of water. The Everglades rhythm is dictated by seasonal water flows. The wet season brings life-giving water from Lake Okeechobee, while the dry season concentrates wildlife around remaining water sources. Asheville. Nestled at North Carolina's Blue Ridge Mountains, Asheville blends artistic spirit with mountain culture. The city's crown jewel is the Biltmore Estate, America's largest private residence, built by George Vanderbilt in 1895. This 250-room French Renaissance chateau sits on 8,000 acres, featuring gardens designed by Frederick Law Olmsted. Downtown's Art Deco architecture tells the story of the city's 1920s boom, with buildings like Grove Arcade showcasing intricate stone carvings and terracotta details. The River Arts District, housed in converted industrial buildings along the French Broad River, hosts over 200 working artists' studios. Asheville's thriving craft beer scene has earned it the title Beer City USA, with more breweries per capita than any other U.S. city. New York City. The city that never sleeps stretches across 5 distinct boroughs, each with its own character. Manhattan's iconic skyline features architectural giants like the Empire State Building and One World Trade Center, while Central Park provides an 843-acre oasis amid the urban landscape. Wall Street represents global finance, while Broadway's theaters define American performing arts. The Statue of Liberty, standing tall in the harbor, has welcomed millions of immigrants, making New York one of the most diverse cities on Earth. Times Square dazzles with massive digital billboards and attracts over 50 million visitors annually. The city's subway system, one of the world's largest, runs 24/7 and connects all corners of the metropolis. Each neighborhood tells its own story, from the brownstones of Brooklyn Heights to the artistic heritage of Greenwich Village. The High Line transformed an abandoned elevated railway into a linear park, inspiring similar projects worldwide. Acadia National Park. Along the rugged coast of Maine, Acadia represents the untamed beauty of New England's shoreline. Granite peaks rise directly from the Atlantic Ocean, with Cadillac Mountain standing as the highest point on America's eastern seaboard. The park's landscape was carved by glaciers, creating dramatic cliffs, thunder holes where waves crash with explosive force, and pristine lakes nestled between mountains. The historic carriage road system, built by John D. Rockefeller Jr., provides 45 miles of crushed stone pathways perfect for cycling and walking. During fall, the park explodes with color as maples, birches, and aspens paint the landscape in brilliant reds and golds. It's one of the first places in the United States to greet the morning sun, making sunrise at Cadillac Mountain a bucket list experience. Miami. Vibrant and pulsing with Latin American energy, Miami stands as a cultural crossroads where the Caribbean meets North America. South Beach's Art Deco Historic District features the world's largest collection of Art Deco architecture, with nearly 800 pastel-colored buildings from the late 20s and 30s. Little Havana's Calle Ocho captures Cuban culture, where domino players gather in Maximo Gomez Park and the aroma of Cuban coffee fills the air. The city's unique position between the Everglades and Biscayne Bay creates a subtropical paradise, with palm-lined beaches stretching along turquoise waters. Wynwood, transformed from an industrial district into an open-air museum, its walls covered in vibrant murals by artists from around the globe. Biscayne Bay's crystal-clear waters hide the only tropical coral reef in the continental United States. The Port of Miami, known as the cruise capital of the world, sees over 5 million passengers annually. Savannah. Built around 22 historic squares, Savannah stands as America's first planned city, designed in 1733 by General James Oglethorpe. The city's signature Spanish moss drapes from ancient live oak trees, creating natural cathedral-like canopies over the streets. Forsyth Park's iconic fountain, modeled after those in Paris, serves as the crown jewel of the city's park system. The historic district features perfectly preserved antebellum mansions, including the Mercer Williams House, made famous by Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. River Street, paved with ballast stones from colonial ships, runs along the Savannah River, where massive container ships still pass by historic cotton warehouses. The city's haunted reputation stems from its construction atop former colonial cemeteries, with many buildings claiming supernatural residents. Savannah's distinct architecture includes double house designs with side porches called sleeping porches, built to catch coastal breezes. Cape May. Perched at New Jersey's southernmost tip, Cape May stands as America's oldest seaside resort and a masterpiece of Victorian architecture. Nearly the entire city is a National Historic Landmark, boasting over 600 preserved Victorian buildings, painted in vibrant colors and adorned with ornate gingerbread trim. The town's historic lighthouse, built in 1859, continues guiding ships around the treacherous Delaware Bay. During spring and fall migrations, Cape May becomes one of North America's premier birdwatching destinations, as thousands of hawks, waterfowl, and songbirds funnel through this coastal peninsula. The beaches feature unique Cape May diamonds, quartz pebbles polished by the Delaware River's long journey to the sea. Sunset Beach holds the remains of the concrete ship SS Atlantis, a World War I-era vessel that ran aground in 1926. The town's architectural legacy comes from its golden age in the late 1800s, when wealthy Philadelphia families built summer homes here. After a devastating fire in 1878, the town was rebuilt in the then fashionable Victorian style, creating what is now known as one of the finest collections of Victorian architecture outside of San Francisco. Washington, D.C. The nation's capital sits strategically on the Potomac River, planned by French architect Pierre L'Enfant, with wide boulevards radiating from circles and squares. The National Mall, stretching from the Lincoln Memorial to the Capitol Building, forms America's most iconic public space. The Smithsonian Institution, the world's largest museum complex, offers free admission to its treasures, from the original Star-Spangled Banner to the Hope Diamond. 3 branches of government anchor the city: the White House, Capitol Hill, and Supreme Court. The tidal basin bursts with cherry blossoms each spring, a gift from Japan in 1912 that draws millions of visitors. Georgetown's historic cobblestone streets and Federal-style architecture recall the city's origins as a colonial port. The city's innovative layout includes circles designed as defensive positions, now serving as neighborhood hubs. Underground, the metro system features vaulted stations inspired by Rome's architecture. The city's height limit, restricting buildings to 130 feet, preserves views of the Washington Monument and creates a unique low-rise skyline unlike any other major American city. Boston. America's oldest major city combines colonial history with modern innovation. The Freedom Trail, a 2.5-mile red brick path, connects 16 historical sites including Paul Revere's house and the USS Constitution, the world's oldest commissioned warship, still afloat. Fenway Park, built in 1912, stands as baseball's oldest active stadium, its 37-foot green monster wall, an iconic symbol of the sport. Back Bay showcases perfectly preserved Victorian brownstones built on land reclaimed from the Charles River in the 1800s. The city's academic landscape includes over 50 colleges and universities, with Harvard and MIT making Cambridge a global center of innovation. Boston Common, America's oldest public park, has witnessed everything from colonial militia training to modern protests. The harbor, site of the famous Tea Party, remains active with fishing boats bringing in daily catches to historic Faneuil Hall Marketplace. Beacon Hill's gas-lit cobblestone streets and brick row houses represent some of the finest Federal-style architecture in the country. Niagara Falls. A colossal testament to natural power, Niagara Falls consists of 3 distinct waterfalls straddling the border between New York and Ontario. The American Falls at Bridal Veil Falls lie entirely within the U.S., while the massive Horseshoe Falls curves into Canada. Every second, more than 750,000 gallons of water plunge over the edge, with the flow at Horseshoe Falls reaching depths of 170 feet. The distinctive green color of the water comes from rock flour, tiny particles of pulverized rock suspended in the current. The falls were formed around 12,000 years ago when glaciers receded, leaving behind deep river channels. Spray from the falls creates unique microenvironments, supporting rare plants and forming ice bridges in the winter. The Cave of the Winds walkway brings visitors face to face with the Bridal Veil Falls, while Maid of the Mist boats have been navigating the churning water since 1846. At night, powerful LED lights illuminate the falls in a rainbow of colors, creating a spectacular display visible from both countries. Orlando. Built around theme parks and entertainment, Orlando transformed from a small citrus-growing town into the world's premier tourist destination. Walt Disney World Resort opened in 1971, spans 43 square miles, an area twice the size of Manhattan. Universal Orlando's Harry Potter attractions pioneered groundbreaking immersive theming, setting new standards for theme park design. Beyond the parks, the city's natural springs maintain a constant 72-degree temperature year-round, creating unique ecosystems and popular swimming spots. Lake Eola, in the heart of downtown, features a distinctive fountain that has become the city's symbol. The Orlando Science Center holds one of the country's largest refractor telescopes, while the nearby Kennedy Space Center connects the region to space exploration. The city's rapid growth created a modern downtown skyline, though historic neighborhoods like Thornton Park preserve early 1900s bungalow architecture. The surrounding wilderness includes the Little Big Econ State Forest, where Florida black bears and alligators roam. Despite its tourist focus, Orlando's technology sector has grown significantly, earning it the nickname Silicon Valley of the East. Philadelphia. The birthplace of American democracy remains a living museum of the nation's founding. Independence Hall, where both the Declaration of Independence and Constitution were debated and signed, anchors the historic district. The Liberty Bell, with its famous crack, has evolved from a state house bell to a global symbol of freedom. Society Hill features the largest concentration of original 18th and early 19th century architecture in America, with cobblestone streets and brick row houses telling stories of colonial life. The Philadelphia Museum of Art steps gained fame from the Rocky films, while inside houses one of the country's finest art collections. Reading Terminal Market, operating since 1893, showcases the city's diverse food culture, from Amish specialties to classic cheesesteaks. City Hall, built over 30 years in the Second Empire style, remains one of the world's largest masonry buildings without a steel frame. Now that we've explored the East Coast's incredible treasures, from the vibrant streets of New York to the serene beauty of Acadia National Park, it's your turn to decide. Which of these amazing experiences will you explore first? If the wonders of the East Coast have inspired you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures from around the world. Until next time, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.